Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one it is Zebre going head to head up against the Lions. Now, last time these two sides matched up against each other, it's 3 a.m. Ladies and gents, the brain's still half asleep, but these two sides had a very close showing. Only 1 point separating them the last time they went head to head. In fact, these are all of the head to heads that we have seen from these two teams. It is either that the Lions win it comfortably, or like last year, they get that sneaky win. That was actually the try of Edward van der Merwe, a man who is now a Shark for the URC. We'll have to wait and see if it is going to be that close or whether there is a bit of a runaway type of game. But it does seem to be when Zebre are at home, they actually go a lot better. So this could be quite the close fixture. Looking through at this round already of the URC, it's been an eventful one. 2 games postponed. Other than that, we've also seen a draw. We've seen a couple last-minute thrillers, including drop kicks to win a game for Munster. We've seen Benetton take it at the death with a 3-pointer, and then a couple good wins for South African sides as well. But looking through at the lineups for these two sides, first of all for Zebre, they have got a few different players than the last time that we saw these two teams go head-to-head. They are still I would say, an underrated part of this URC. They can beat some of the top opposition in the competition when they get it right, but at the same time, they haven't got those massive big names like some of the other sides. Definitely the likes of Benetton, the other Italian side in the URC. We just see there the Lions warming up with a little bit of scrum practice. We have seen the Bulls and the Sharks both go to their scrum quite a bit throughout this round of the URC, and it has been effective. We saw the Springboks do it up against Argentina too, so it would be no surprise we see a bit of scrummaging going on for this game. But that 19 combination, Fusco as the 9 with Dare as that number 10. Then also the back 3. Dangerous here. I will mention, last time these two sides played off, it was only 3-pointers that Zebre were able to get for themselves. In this Lions lineup, they have got a pretty similar side to what you would see throughout the Carling Curry Cup. Kjuan Horn will be slotting in as the fullback. Chris Smith and Nico Steyn as that 9-10 combination. But where I am really looking forward to seeing this Lions side is that loose forward trio. Renzo Duplessis has a ton of talent. He's a young player, up-and-comer, and will certainly be, hopefully, in the running for the box in the future. Ruan Fenta as the number 7. He managed to score himself a try last week. And Frankie Horn back for the Lions here. Always offers a lot of physicality. Loves running that ball off the back of a scrum. And like I mentioned, if the scrums are the part of the game that the Lions look to target, we could see him pretty effective throughout this matchup. But in the comments already, we have got quite a few people here. Tony has said, come on the Lions. We have got Rudolph in the chat as well. Come on the Lions, says, hey, no, an afternoon, Hamish. Crazy strong cold wind here in Cape Town. And also, we have there play our Lions with their all sorts jerseys, says Rudolph there. Yeah, it is a little bit of a different looking kit from the Lions for this matchup. It's got a bit of pink, bit of blue. It might even be a little bit of purple blended in there too. That wasn't supposed to rhyme. We have got hello everyone, get on your horses and enjoy the ride. And Chris Smith Chris Smith is back, massive for the Lions, says hey no. And yeah, he just has that control in a game of rugby, doesn't he? And we saw it throughout the Carling Curry Cup at times. Now I will mention the best thing for ZEBRE Parma to do here is put him under pressure. Try and shut him out of the game, because he is known to also make a couple errors every once in a while. So, that's where I think the targeting of the 9 and 10 combination. Nico Steyn's pretty swift, though, next to those breakdowns. Very sneaky with the way that he will run the ball. What did you think of the Springboks' performance in the Rugby Championship? Deserved winners. What's your overall view? Well, when you look at their games prior to that one up against Argentina, of course, that Twickenham matchup, all they needed was a win, and that is exactly what they got. But those 2 games prior was what won them the Rugby Championship. The massive win over Argentina in South Africa and the massive win over New Zealand in Wellington. When you score 110 points from 2 games of rugby, you deserve to win a competition and deserve to win a cup, and that is exactly what the Springboks were able to do. Good day, everyone. Hope you're doing well, Hamish. Says Purple Dragon Universe, an easy win for Zebre. Well, they have never beaten the Lions in the URC. They have been close. The closest that they were was last year, where they did lose by 1 point. But aside from that, the year prior, they got beaten pretty badly up against the Lions, 61 points to 19. They did have a fair showing in South Africa in 2023 in April, getting themselves a 15-point defeat. And then when they are at home, that is as close as they have been to beating this Lions side back in 2021. That was actually the first ever game of the URC for these two sides way back in September. Now, of course, we're 4 years later now, and it has absolutely flown by. Since then, we've seen South African victors. We've seen the Glasgow Warriors getting themselves the win. Leinster have lifted that trophy too. But yeah, big intrigue around what the Zebre side can do. And they just, like I said, they come in as underdogs for 90% of their games, yet they are actually favourites heading into this contest. Although we did see Leinster as a favourite up against the Stormers in round number 1, and we've also seen a couple of the favourites lose already in this round of the competition too. But we have got there, that's a handy-looking Lions team on paper. Hopefully a first away win for the Lions, says Albert. And these away points, they can be absolutely crucial for these sides. We will quickly show the table as well. I've been quite prepared for this one. I've got all the pop-ups ready for this game of the URC. But at the moment, the Bulls and the Stormers, they are sitting strong at the top of the bunch. Also up there, Munster, after getting themselves the last-minute win over Cardiff, they move into that number 3 spot. Cardiff right up there due to the losing bonus points that they did receive from that game, getting themselves within 7 and also getting themselves the 4 tries in that contest. Glasgow sitting there in 5th. But Zebre, for now, they are inside of the top 8. So a win here, theoretically, right? Put everything else aside. If Zebre win this game and they win it by 19 points, they will sit top of the URC table at the end of this round. Now, of course, there were a couple postponed games, so that kind of makes it a little bit tricky. The likes of Connacht as well as Ulster didn't get that opportunity to move up further, but that would be quite the statement. Definitely because at the end of the first round, we saw that Leinster were the bottom of the table, which just does not normally happen. So it's a bit of an opposite day at the moment, perhaps, for the URC. If Zebre were able to get themselves the big win, the Lions, they are sitting way down here in 15th. They want to get that big old boost. And if they were to win this contest, depending on whether it is comfortable or just a win, they could find themselves sitting right up as high as around 6th and then as low as around that 9th or 10th, depending on what the type of win margin would be for it. We have got there behind the Lions all the way. Says Eric there, and how's it, Hamish? Greg from St. Francis Bay. Says Greg there, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And Nick Mallet agreed with me that the Bulls Leinster high tackle on Bulls players should have been a red card. Says Albert, well, as long as he agrees, that's the main thing. I remember last year it took Stormers 78 games to get out of the bottom 4. Took Stormers 78 games. Or was that 7 to 8 games? Maybe. And also we have got there, so what do you think of the Stormers in the URC so far? I backed them for the first 2 away matches. I think that they'd be pretty disappointed not to win all 3. The Stormers, based off the squad that they've got at the moment and also based off what we've seen from their first 2 games, I think that anything less than 2 wins would be pretty poor for them. But anything, you know, honestly, less than 3, they might be a bit disappointed. But then maybe you're expected to drop an away game. Definitely in this competition. It's a bit similar to what we see in the top 14. How if you're away from home, you do have a little bit less of a chance. That Chris Smith picture that they took there looks like it hasn't even matched the rest of the team. Obviously, a bit of a late arrival. Edwin Keita in the back 3 alongside Angelo Davids and Kjuan Horn. As Leinster now last, says Hano, they are second last at the moment, I believe. We'll go here. The Scarlets are still just below them. The reason being because of that 1 bonus point Leinster have. And that wasn't for being within 7 either. That was just for scoring 4 tries. They actually did that in the game up against the Bulls. So currently, the Scarlets, because they have only played 1 match, similar with the Lions, that is why they are down below. But if the Scarlets had played another game and got themselves, let's say, a bonus point, then their points differential should have been enough to put them up ahead. But definitely not where we're used to seeing the Leinster boys. But it will change. I feel like as this competition grows, they will continue to move up there. It's a beautiful kit on the Zebre players, a bright yellow for this matchup. Good morning, Amish. Says Zion, welcome in. How's the weather in Italy? It is sunny. There's a massive storm cloud in the background, though. I think I just caught a little bit of a glimpse of. So they won't be hoping for... Okay, so what is happening here is it's sunny at the moment, but I would say, depending on the direction of the wind, that cloud looks pretty ugly in the background. So hopefully the wind's going that way and they're just going to push it way over to the side and we don't have to deal with any rain. But honestly, it might be the nicest day that we could see in quite some time for a match of rugby, just because of all the storm that is around the UK at the moment. But yeah, the clouds look ugly in the background. We have got there. Also, good morning, Hamish. Says Zion, welcome in. And also we have got there, also, hello guys. I hope you are doing well. I'm the biggest Lions supporter, Martin Esterhuizen from South Africa, so you'll be hoping to see a Lions away win here. Got a decent chance of doing so. They come in as slight underdogs, but I honestly think with the fact that they have won every single time that they have gone up against the Zebre side, you'd think that probably gives them half a chance. And we have got there, I hope your team wins, Martin, says Bruce. And also, Leinster sucks, says Benson. They will go up, though. And we have got there SY. I assume that means, well, I think I know what that means, but I could be wrong. So you might have to spell it out for me, Jamie, in the long form rather than the short lingo. But both of the sides just giving a bit of a round of applause at the moment. Well, this match does get underway. And do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for this contest. I do hope that it's a little bit higher scoring than we saw the last time that these two sides went head-to-head. The Storm has only played 2 games so far. And we have got there, where is the third game? The third will be played by next weekend, says Mornay. Yeah, they've only played their 2 home games so far. And then they've got their game next week, and then the week after. And then I believe November, we've pretty much got none of the URC taking place. We have got there, Padsa Leinster played their C team. For both matches. Okay. No, I think I know what that abbreviation is then, and I think it was directed at Paddy, if I'm correct there. And we have got there, come on the Lions. And we have got there, ugly is an ugly word, rather say fugly, says Bruce. And also Zebre 36 to 32. And Hamish, be honest, did you put money on the Zebras? I did not, no. I wouldn't trust anyone in this URC in terms of backing any side whatsoever. And I feel like that first game between the Stormers and Leinster showed just exactly why. But it's kicked off by the Lions. Now, this one getting kicked down towards the sideline for Zebre to be able to get us a first line out in the contest. 22-24 is the score prediction there. And Shongalolo, hopefully I've said that correctly, has said Zebre 39-3. So a big win in that case. That would also be with a bonus point, I assume. And in that situation, they would go to number 1 in the standings of the whole URC after the first 2 rounds. Come on, the Lions, says Haino. Now line out around the halfway line here for Franco Moraes to get us underway. Oh, nicely taken at the top of the line out. And the Lions kit, it is very different, I will say, for this matchup. It is bright, it is colourful, and they certainly stand out, although you can't read the numbers to save ourselves. On the back, but Ewan Keita trying to slap that ball back. Ball in the possession of Zebre now. So Leinster haven't played their A team. It's not looking good on the log. Yeah, they have had a lot of Irish international players away for the first 2 rounds, but I believe they will be back for the game up against the Sharks, and that could be a very good performance if they do gel straight away. The Box played very good, says Martin, and everyone think the Lions may win this one, but I'd love to see Zebre on the top of the table for a change, says Lilia. And yeah, it should certainly show the unpredictability of this URC early on. It was kicked downfield, but now the Lions managing to claim it about 30 metres out from their try line at the moment. Big physicality shown on defence. It's going to be Bravin making the tackle there. Now rolling this one back, Nico Stain. Ready to put this one up. And we have got there, Pads Blaze House, says Jamie. With that one from, for no, they suck. I mean, they are the defending champs, though, so, you know, kind of gives them a bit of a leeway, I would think, for a bit of a rough start, but, like, they'll be back. The thing is, they're going to be top 4, and they're probably going to be top 2. It's just whether or not, with these early points that they've dropped, they will still get a home final. That's the big question mark. I think that's the game. The big guns return, says Haino. Now ready to throw it in here for Zebre. They have got the ball sitting. Oh, no, knock on. They were going for the rolling maul, and it just ended up popping out of the fingertips. We have there a Zebre win. You give me $50. If Lions win, I will do the same. Says Flash TV. I mean, no. This game's too unpredictable. These two sides came in as about 50-50. So you're honestly, you know, you're either getting 50 or you're throwing away 50, but it is honestly such a pick-em game. Could go easily either way. And we have there Zebre still, or is Zebre still easy pickings? I would say in this game they're going to be competitive, but also last year we saw at times like they are not an easy beat. And I feel like maybe 2 years ago people used to look at them as, okay, you're playing Zebre, you're going to get a win. But now I feel like they're far from that. Oh, nice little shuffle there from Nico Stain onto the short side. Edwan Keita, another low tackle made. This looks like a nice afternoon for a game of rugby in Italy at the moment. Trying to get into the breakdown, unable to steal it there. Now moving it out to the right-hand side. Little grubber from Kuan Horn going straight into the hands. Zebre might win. Yeah, it could go absolutely either way. However, there you get the $50 either way, says James. No, I think he was saying if the Lions win. Wait, if the Lions win, I will do... Okay, so no, he's back in Zebre, I think. Reading that was like a riddle, wasn't it? I had to read it twice. That one's gone high, going up for this ball. Nicely taken by Angelo Davids. Offloads back to Kuan Horn. That looks like a 4 pass from Chris Smith. I have no idea how that has not been called. And it is going to be play on just for now. Nico Stain going off. Note, now they've realised it was 4 by about 2 metres. They'll go back for the scrum. We have to see how happy Hamish looks. Are still celebrating the box win, says Bruce. I think I'm also just happy that, like, two sides 50-50 are going head-to-head. It was a bit similar to what we saw between... It was the game yesterday that was 50-50. I don't even know if we covered it, actually. Which game am I thinking of? That was pretty much a pick 'em either way. I can't even remember which game it was. Oh. Was it a URC one on Saturday morning? There was a game, and I can't even remember which one it is. That shows how bad my memory is at the moment. But there was one that was supposed to be, it could go either way. And it ended up being pretty much split. I have no idea what I'm on about. They're asking riddles. Then Deal Right says Splash TV. Nah, we will just watch it. Plus, what would it be if we were to just make bets all the time? You know, we'll get buzz cuts and all sorts. That's fine, but we shouldn't really be encouraging huge gambling on the channel. Bulls versus Leinster. Was that one 50-50? Oh, Dragon Sharks. That's the one. The draw. And that was actually right when they came up with the 50-50s. So if you're looking at the odds of this game, that means that Zebre should win by about 2 points. But yeah, that is the one that I could not remember to save myself. And the Lions will win 34 points to 12 from Martin Estays and from South Africa. And great commentary, my first time on your channel, and it is greatly appreciated. We have got plenty more coming up. Penalty goes the way of Zebre. And, oh. Okay, a little bit of a shove after the whistle as well from the Lions. Just getting a little bit of a warning there. The feet coming out from underneath them. The kickable 3 on offer here. The shot is going to be called to get the early lead. I think Munster-Cardiff was also 50-50. That is true. Yeah, those two sides. We've had a great round of the URC. And the fact that we've had a couple games postponed as well. You know, it is unfortunate. But I do think that Edinburgh-Ulster game, because it was in Edinburgh, could have been a really good game as well. And Connacht versus the Scarlets. Scarlets at the moment for me are a side that could cause an upset in one random game that no one's expecting. You know, like, the biggest split that we've had was 16 points. And that was the opening game of the contest, or opening game of the round. Everything else, like no split between the Dragons and the Sharks, 2 points difference, 8 points difference, 3-point difference. Like, it's all you can ask for, really, in a competition. You want to see games going down to the wire, and that's what we've had all throughout this round. Lining up this kick. 7 minutes into the contest here, and Zebre to try and take the lead. And he's missed it away to the left-hand side, so no penalty going over the Lions all day, says Tyrone. I'm still amazed that TMO didn't call the Aussie forward pass. Well, I mentioned about it in that, I think it was South Africa, Argentina, how they called an Argentinian forward pass that went about maybe a third of the way forward as to what that last pass for the Australians did. How did the table finish in the end? Would Argentina... I think they would have still gone down because of points differential. But I'm hoping that that didn't cost them. In terms of... if Australia hadn't received those 2 bonus points, Argentina actually would have finished third in the Rugby Championship, and Australia would have finished last. Oh, that's a big knock on from Zebre again up to the halfway line here for the Lions. Nico Stain. Off to the left-hand side, Chris Smith firing it in behind. Little Kuan Horn shuffle there before he does decide to once again look for a 50-22, and I believe he's got it that time. And missed, yes, says Haino. And the Stormers playing Munster on the 29th of November. Another away game for the Stormers. The Stormers do play in November, says Amone. Yeah, they've got the game on the, I think that's either, oh, well, I wasn't going to say the 29th or the 30th, but yeah, I've got there the 29th, so I think that's the 30th for us. But yeah, they do get one game right at the end. And I think that in terms of October, we have a game about the 28th of October, I want to say, for the URC. Somewhere around there. I have a quick look while this line out is just about to take place. But Zebre have got themselves the possession. Going off to the side. Is it windy there? It doesn't look too bad overall. I don't see, little bit of breeze on the trees in the background. So I'd say probably 20 k's of wind, somewhere around there. That's not really a accurate measuring amount, but somewhere around there. A little bit of breeze, but I don't think it would have affected his kick that badly. I think the Aussies, one was that the officials missed it and the commentator said it'll be too far back in terms of phases. Yeah, although it was the one before the try is the one that we're talking about. You know, that one pass? Oh, you know, you're talking about Fraser McWright, his one round the halfway, aren't you? When the Aussie commentators, yeah, they were saying that they thought maybe they wouldn't go back for it. But then that last try that they scored was also very much a forward pass. Now sitting about 30 metres out from the line, Chris Smith puts the inside ball going to Frankie Horn. It's very hard to read the numbers on the back of the Lions kits at the moment, so we are pretty much basing our commentary off looking at the players and trying to work out who is who, rather than any sort of numbers clarification. Nico Stain, though, going back across to the right-hand side. There are sirens at the moment, and that's a forward pass from Chris Smith. Champions Cup still first weekend of December. You're probably looking forward to those fixtures. Yes and no. Yes, because the Champions Cup is always good watch. No, because there's already so much going on in the first week of December. We've got the sevens that will be taking place. I believe it will be either Cape Town or maybe Dubai, I think is normally the one beforehand. Alongside that, there's a Rugby World Cup draw. I was going to go to the New Zealand versus West Indies test match up the road a few hours, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's just too busy of a weekend now. I missed it then myself. I think they wanted to make it tight finish, says Hano, and they certainly did just that. With it only separated by a few points, but now scrum feed, Zebre once again have got themselves the feed into this one. Are we in for another low-scoring game? The last time these two sides played, it was 9 points to 10. They actually cancel each other out quite nicely. Definitely when they play in Italy. A big scrum there, and it's an advantage to Zebre. Sitting round the halfway line, attack and run forward. Nice little show of pace there from Daré. Now off to the left-hand side, close to the touchline. He somehow managed to stay in the field of play there with a brilliant inside ball from Gessi. Now just short. Fusco offloading it up 5 metres out from the line here for Zebre. Now back across ZEBRE Parma. Wide cut-out pass. This is going to be a try here. And it's Batista Stavile Brivin who has scored that try. Probably butchered his name. It was off the top of the dome in terms of trying to remember it, but he's got the little mini afro. So some people probably just from me saying that know exactly who I'm talking about. Zebre dominating scrum time. But Stavile managing to score the try. I wish you said yes, says Splash TV. And also just watched TikTok video of Wildcard. He wasn't happy. He got thrown out of a pub in Australia wearing his Australian jersey. Crazy they don't allow sports jerseys. Tears Ruth. Yeah, see, I heard a little bit about it. I haven't actually read into it or anything, but was he in Christchurch? Is that where he was? Oh, no, in Australia, because I know that someone was talking about the fact that in Christchurch you're not allowed to wear a kit in certain pubs, and I think it's just to avoid any sort of, like, fights breaking out. Like, obviously, the reason they've got it is because something's happened in the past where two sides have gone at each other and it's caused a problem. Sema's going to be very busy for you, I know. I just hope there's not any overlaps. I think there'll be a few, but hopefully we'll be able to handle it not too bad. It's a pub in Christchurch. Says Hano there, but that kick has missed away to the side. Zebre, though, leading 5 points to 0. Just really nicely done with the footwork of Simeon Gassi. Did you watch the NRL final? I actually forgot about it till about 40 minutes through. And then watched the second half, saw that the Broncos, they did very well, just like they did up against the Panthers, managing to get that comeback victory. But yeah, when I first started watching it, it was just on the half. And then while the second half was taking place, because I thought that it was going to be a bit one-sided in favour of the Storm, so I cooked some eggs. and then came back and they were right back in it. Hamish, you're looking fantastic again. Nice grey hoodie, says Ruth. Yeah, I haven't got the shirt and tie on today. Gone a bit more casual for this matchup, but I don't know when the next time is that the suit and tie will come out. Probably November, I guess. That's a good clearing kick from Zebre from inside of their own 22. Another line out here for Franco Moraes and his Lion side, who haven't really had a lot of front foot ball as of yet. They've been making a few mistakes. They're just talking about those results last year, or earlier on this season, or last season, sorry, for Zebre, when they were able to get a few wins in a row. Still finished 15th in the standing. Wildcard was in Australia, shame. I said to him he could come to Cape Town, he could wear anything, even his bathing suit costume. And where do you think Reece Walsh would slot into Union? Probably as a fullback, I'd say. Although you could probably put him into the centres, but similar to Suali'i in terms of the little bit of versatility. I think he'd be wasted out on the wing, though. I think you need him touching the ball more often. Hi, Hamish, from Daryl there, welcome in. Currently on the halfway line. Now the Lions ready to kick this high. Nico Stain chasing after it. Angelo Davids, this one hanging in the air. And it's going to be bouncing awkwardly. Big driving tackle coming there. Chris Smith, once again, looking for the kick in behind. Does weight it nicely close to the sideline, but it bounces back infield. And Zebre now another clearing kick. Getting some good distance on these strikes from both sides. Looks like the Lions want to take it quickly. They do just that. Now running it back, Kuan Horn puts it up high. Now Edwin Keita chasing this one. Taken under the high ball from Dari. And that looks like a steal there in the breakdown from the Lions. They managed to get this one back, so a nice bit of territory. Looked like maybe a tackle off the ball, and the penalty advantage now goes the way of the Lions. Nico Stain passing back across to the right-hand side. Now offload on the outside for Creel. It goes out. They will go back for the penalty. What happened? Or what fight happened in the pubs in Christchurch? I assume that there wasn't a fight per se, or at least I'd like to think there wasn't, but like pubs normally don't make rules like that unless something's happened. You know, it's like the whole thing of some locations, you know, I guess like concerts, for instance, they went from having like glass bottles and whatnot. Now they're not allowed that. And like cricket grounds, or at least the ones in New Zealand and Christchurch, they have to open the can for you so that you don't have as heavy of a projectile, I think is the reason behind it. And also so that they can, I think it's to keep track of how many they're giving out. We have got there Sasha Feinberg and Mazulu or Reece Walsh in terms of playmaking. Different games, different codes of union and league. So, like, I don't know who you could, like, I don't know how Sasha would go in league. I don't know how Walsh would go in union. Probably pretty well for both of them, but it's just too different to be able to judge. We have got there, when too much drinking in pubs, it doesn't take much to start a fight. Drunk people get bolchy. Says Ruth. Looks like they are actually holding this ball on the tee here for Chris Smith. So maybe a bit more breeze than I first anticipated. The trees are going from, looks like left to right in the background. But he will get the chance to add the 3 points early here. They'll still be down by the 2. He strikes it well. And it does end up going over. So the score now sitting between Zebre and the Lions, 5 points to 3. Wonder how many fans are not following the Lions anymore after 2 years in a row stuffing up the last minute of a final, says Xander. I think there's some, for Curry Cup-wise, may be a little bit more hesitant. But I think in terms of the URC, like, they will still be followed. They are a South African side that have missed out at times. You know, you look at the last couple years, and the one that stands out, not last year, but the year prior, where they missed out by, I think it was like points differential up against the Ospreys. When do you wake up? Says, I don't know. Or at least that is the extended name. But I was up probably at about, I don't even know what time it would have been. About 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Ended up going to sleep at about 2 or 3, I think. I've honestly forgotten already. And I only just woke up like a little while ago. But no, didn't sleep well at all. Just ended up wanting to get back up and do something else. So I did. And it falls a Zebre. Says Tiny's in there as well. But now going off to the right-hand side. Now Fusco joining up in the back line. As number 15 gets it off to Del Rey. Okay, there, did you get 5 hours? At least not really. It was stop-start. You know, it was kind of like a game of rugby where it's raining and there are a lot of knock-ons happening. It was very much like a sleep for 30 minutes, wake up for 20, sleep for another hour, wake up for 10, and Yeah, nah, pretty broken overall. But going off to the left-hand side now, nice pass. Tackle made from Frankie Horn, but again, Zebre are going to be in a good attacking position. That is some beautiful skill there, but it's called as a forward pass. And we're a little bit unlucky there, and like the Sharks vs Dragons game, exactly like that one. Even the Curry Cup, Ellis Park was very small crowd. And yeah, it is tricky to get big crowds to the Curry Cup, though, and we've seen that all throughout the season. It's just down to the amount of rugby that has taken place. Plus, now with how expensive it is to go to Springbok games, it means that a lot of people are saving up for those ones rather than going to each and every week. I think that Borland's crowd looked absolutely phenomenal all throughout the year, and it was a shame that they ended up kind of missing out on any sort of home final and the playoffs. We have got their 5 hours of sleep as a myth. So yeah, Xander. What type of myth? I assume you're saying like that you need to get at least 5 hours, but I don't think that was what she was saying. She was more just asking if I got that much. We stream the FIFA World Cup next year. New Zealand will be playing. Maybe. Depends on when it's happening, because there will be a lot of overlaps throughout next year as well with all the sport on. We've got another scrum reset here. Zebre conceding the scrum after that forward pass. I could be from sleeping in the afternoon from golf, says Badzer. We have got their roof. Can I come for a pork-free veg dinner tonight? Says Kevin. Pork-free veg dinner. I am going to have cauliflower soon. I know that that's something that is completely irrelevant, but some of you would have been on the stream when we were talking about it last time. I hadn't had cauliflower in like a decade, but I got some, and it's like cauliflower popcorn. So that will be interesting. Now, free kick goes the way of Zebre, ladies and gentlemen. They'll be sitting not too far out from the Lions line. Now, they won't actually get the chance to go for the scrum again. That was a law that was changed a little while ago. They're going to sit about 10 metres out from the line, though, as a... Wait, it was a free kick initially, I thought, but maybe it turned into a penalty here. I might get noodles. Says Badzer. How do you think the new player welfare rules will affect South African rugby clubs? Says Hayno. Are we talking about like the breaks that certain players have to have? The rugby schedule at the moment is absolutely hectic. There's about 7 or 8 blokes in that rolling maul now for Zebre as they start to march their way just a little bit closer to the Lions line once again. Getting close. Now, back off to the right-hand side. Pick and go from the try scorer, the lone try scorer of the match. He's over the line, but they're going back now for the initial penalty. We have got their perfect. I'm on my way to the airport. And also, hi, Alan Hamish says, Robert, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Lions to win this, says Patrick. And I need 8 hours of sleep at least. I think I do as well. And that sounds weird to say because normally on the weekends I get like 2 hours. But I am very much anything less than 8 hours, my brain doesn't work. So I've probably done very well for so long to somehow fluke a way through being tired. And also we've got there 5 hours is little. If you don't get 8 hours every night, says Ruth. But now, sitting 5 metres out from the line again. Rolling forward just that little bit further here for Zebre. It's being defended by the Lions, but not really, because now they're starting to move again, getting that second wind. When it comes to that rolling maul, just 1 metre short. I think that's the ball there. Short side. It's another try for the same man, Bautista. Stavile Braven has scored himself 2. Again, that they only play 30 games in a year, says Hayno. And also we've got there Wellington Phoenix or Auckland FC. I'll be honest, ever since Auckland FC came into it, or in fact, even like the 3 or 4 years before then, I haven't really watched the A-League a massive amount. I wouldn't even know who's at either of the sides at the moment. But like, I used to be a fan of the Wellington Phoenix back in the kind of Chris Sigmund and Leo Bertos kind of days. He was my favourite player. He now has a cafe in Wellington, I believe. Or at least he did. But yeah, I used to love watching Leo Bertos play. Oh, hang on. They're actually going to check this one here. Sounds like the TMO is going to be involved. That ambulance is going off again. That only went about 10 minutes ago. They must be near a hospital at this location. Zebre and Betterton are the ones to watch for. Says Splash TV. And they're saying there that it's probably going to be ruled out this try. What do you think of the Nations Tournament starting next year? No Rugby Championship, but next year too cruel for Australia and Argentina. At least New Zealand touring South Africa next year. Says Mornay. Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's great to see the tours back, but at the same time, it does mean that, you know, Australia and Argentina will heavily miss out. And I just hope that, a tour, if those two sides were going to do something like that, would at least bring some interest. But, yeah, I just don't know if they'll benefit financially. Maybe that is why we saw Argentina have this game at Twickenham, for the sake of trying to make some money that they're going to lose next year. Now we have got there that. I know I read that one, didn't I? Also, we got there also ambulance. Says Badzer. Well, I think it's just, it must be near the hospital. I'm not too sure which direction it's coming from, but it's now the second or third time that we've actually heard that siren. Right, they're showing it there. It looks like there's some sort of obstruction in the ruck, where one of the Lions players perhaps are getting held in there. So it is going to be a penalty to the Lions, sitting 5 metres out from their own try line. So that one disallowed, chalked off the board for Zebre. 12-3, it is now going to be 5-3 due to that one getting taken away. Okay, I think there that Zebre are just trying to ask whether or not they can look at it again, but it is going to be no try. He milked that. There was a lot of arm flailing going on from the Lions player. Come on, Lions, F them up, says Albertus. And also, why do the Aussies go to Argentina? Or why don't the Aussies go to Argentina? That could be an answer. It will potentially happen, but it's not going to be anywhere near as financially beneficial as the Rugby Championship would be for the two sides, if that makes sense. Because I would say, I'm trying to think of who would be 2 matches in a row. I think, what would the schedule be? I'm trying to think of last year's Rugby Championship. This year, we saw 2 matches for Australia in South Africa. So they might have almost been hosting South Africa twice for this next Rugby Championship. Potentially. I think it goes 1-1. Or maybe they'll be actually hosting Argentina, it might be. And then 1-1 up against South Africa. Not money, but playing experience. Yeah, they'll probably still have some sort of matches anyway, for the sake of keeping their players active during that international window. But, yeah, I've seen a lot of people are split in their opinions of it. Like, they're happy that the tours are back for New Zealand and South Africa, but then at the same time, after what has been the best Rugby Championship we've had in a long time, people are disappointed that we're not going to get to see it again next year. We have there, Zebras playing better rugby these days. They absolutely are. And they're a side that, you can't underestimate. Because as soon as you do, they normally can cause a bit of an upset. I'm just looking through at some of their results from last year as well. They did lose badly to Leinster. I do see as one of their games. But, losing to Glasgow 14 points to 6, that's a pretty decent scoreline. 25-25 up against Edinburgh as a score that they had last season as well. They lost by 1 up against the Sharks in South Africa. Not many sides can say that they've done that. Now, rolling this one back. Chance here, Nico Stain from inside of the 22 Lions. Really struggling to get a bit of territory now. Did see that kicking orientated game from Chris Smith earlier on, but it was just given the position straight back to Zebre, who have been building up their phases. We have got to invite Zimbabwe. Well, now that they're in the World Cup, maybe we will see them get some sort of chance. Who's that? Looks like one of the Lions players was actually on the sideline there. And easy way to test youngsters Wednesday games. Says Daryl, it feels like the Lions are just kicking the ball away. It does, doesn't it? I think that Chris Smith and Kjuan Horn, both possibly to blame a little bit for that. They're the ones who are doing the predominant amount of the kicking. I'm being told to use it again to the left-hand side and go the Lions. The game is 80 minutes from Martin. Maybe Australia must tour to Argentina, the same tour like South Africa and New Zealand, just a thought. They probably will do something like that, but yeah, like I said, the only thing that they'll look at there is they'll go, look, we're not getting anywhere near as much revenue as we would have. So, like I said, beneficial for New Zealand and South Africa because they will get the big payday, but Argentina and Australia, they will just have to, I guess, bide their time. Australia's got that World Cup coming up, so I'm more concerned for Argentina, but I guess by playing that last game at Twickenham, that will make up for any financial loss for those matches. Going off to the left-hand side now, a little bit of stutter stepping down the wing. Moving forward nicely, I believe that would have been Ruan Fenta with the bright white headgear. Now, Nico Stain, little cellular dummy. This is going through now. A big gap there. Passing off to Nico Stain again, but he's going to be tackled just 10 metres short. He thought he was open play, but Zebre still had 2 more lines of defence and they win the turnover. That is some massive work from the Italian side. And an incredible turnover for Damiano Mazza, I believe, in that 12 jersey from memory. And yeah, just getting in there and getting that steal. Wonder whether or not Nico Stain just needed that one more option with him. Oh, we have got there, Lions. Let's go on, says Ruth. And also Zebre built solid, square solid, says Ruth there. Yeah, they've got some solid defence. I do think that because of some of their results, like they won 2 games in a row last year, I do see. In fact, they won up against Ulster, then they beat Edinburgh, then they beat the Dragons. And then they almost beat the Sharks. That was their run in the middle stage of the URC, and it was mentioned that they still, unfortunately for themselves, did finish in that 15th spot, having 5 wins throughout the year, 4 more than the Dragons, who did finish in last. Now ready to throw this one in again for Zebre back into the pocket. Andre does kick it downfield, nicely taken 22 metres out from the Lions. Liners in Australia trying to buy league players, they are, but it's going to be an expensive venture. Oh, one's gone into touch. Good kick downfield from Kuan Horn. They just don't look happy at the moment, the Lions. It's as if they're not quite... But the thing is, I think their game plan is to try and win a territory battle, but they're not winning it. And I feel like that was their biggest chance to be able to score, was when they just decided, right, we're actually going to run this ball. Whereas Zebre are just playing a smart game of rugby. They're forcing the Lions back and then using their big physical forwards and a bit of skill down the wings to get on the board. Throwing this one in now. Being told to use it. He was taking a very long time, but does now get it in to Krumov. And we have got there given ice cream and wafers and frozen yogurt strawberry flavour. So here's Ruth there. Oh, ball is in the hands of the still lone try scorer. We are 28 minutes through and the score is still 5 points to 3 between these two sides. Isn't going up in a huge hurry, although the last time that these two sides played, we did only see 19 points combined from these two teams. Now rolling this one back, told to use it. That was interesting from Alejandro Fusco. He actually picked the ball up to then put it back down and roll it back. Oh, that one's going to bounce in the field of play. Edwin Keita saying they should go right back. It was on the line, so it is out on the full. And they will have to go back now to where it was kicked from. Okay, time is off again. Richard Creel still off the field for his HIA. And also looks like a bit of an injury here for Mohamed Hassa in that number 1 jersey for Zebre. It looks like there are a few drinks also starting to get run onto the field as well for these two sides. And the best Lions player ever was James Small. So here's Kevin. Now we have got there after spicy curry, something cold is beautiful. So here's Ruth. Oh yeah, just on the line. Edwin Keita decided to leave it. I was hoping that it would be out, which it was, just by a narrow margin. Looks like Frankie Horn going over, just having a conversation with the referee here. And we have got there Brandy, Coke and Ice is cold. So here's Xander. A low score. And it was the last time these two sides played too. We will go like that. There we go. These are the 4 head-to-heads that these two sides have had in the URC competition. So they have played just the 4 times. And Zebre have never beaten the Lions. Now, they've been close. Definitely the last time that they did go head-to-head. The time before that and the time before that, we did see the Lions score a combined 111 points. But anytime Zebre play at home, they have been statistically much more likely to get themselves that win. Nice attack and run forward again here for the Lions. They are sitting about 30 metres out from the line. Nico Stain just can't quite find his way through. Getting in there. Locatelli locking himself over the ball. Gets another penalty in the breakdown for ZEBRE Parma. They're looking hard to beat in these breakdowns at the moment. The Lions just not protecting that ball. We see they're trying to join in to the rucks and they're just not getting there quick enough. We have got there. Yes, that would be a lovely way to end the dinner and dessert as well. Says Kevin there. Now ready to throw this ball in here for Zebre. Once again, I will go like this and like this as well. What is it sitting at the moment? Currently, Zebre are in fact, they're the same odds as the start of this game, believe it or not. Oh, that was not straight. The advantage is in favour of the Lions off a bit of a wonky throw from Zebre. Lions sitting 35 metres out from their line, and they're going to go back for the initial not straight throw. We have their Lions, Persian Cats, that's the problem. And this Locatelli guy is so good, says Hano. Yeah, he just gets on the ball and doesn't move. Like the fact that the Lions, they were a little step behind for that first initial trying to clean him out. But then two blokes were both going for him, trying to push him off the ball. And he was like, nah, I'm happy. I'm here. I'm not moving. So, yeah, when you get a sort of player like that, it just makes everything so much easier. And you look at this loose forward trio. I mentioned how crucial Renzo Duplessis, Ruan Fente, and Frankie Horn would be for the Lions. But I think the loose forward trio so far for Zebre are actually having that advantage. Did you get some sleep, Hamish? Another early day for you. I managed a grand total of about probably, I'd say, by the time you take the little breaks out of the middle, probably about 4 hours sleep. So I'm still a little bit light, but there's still time. We have got there, how was Zebre's second try disallowed? So due to one of the Lions players getting held into the ruck, as what the end call was, so a little bit of obstruction, but yeah, it wasn't a mile away from being the second try for Batista Stavelli. Now ready to put this ball on the Lions, 40 metres out from their line. We're already 31 minutes through. This game's going by very quickly, even though it's a low-scoring one. Every once in a while, you get a low-scoring game that feels like it takes 5 years. This game's not that way. It feels like we're almost at half-time, about maybe 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Oh, penalty goes the way of Zebre. Their scrum so far has been the stronger of the two. They are lining up the points by the looks of the pointing from Fusco. Oh, actually. Okay, I think Fusco said posts, and then maybe he got overrun by Giacomo Dare. He says, nah, corner is where we're going to go here. So you can just see the intent from Zebre in this game. They want to get themselves a big victory. Already having that one disallowed try. We have got there now. It's because the Lions are too full to eat the Zebras, says Petzer. I guess it's a decent analogy in some regards. Line out throw now for Zebre. Sitting at the moment around 15 metres out. Trying to get this one moving. Sitting at a standstill. Oh no, now it's starting to march that little bit more. 10 metres from the try line. They have got the physical forward back and they're making the most of it. In this game, ZEBRE Parma, still the same rolling maul. Although that ball might be stuck in there. There is a penalty advantage to Zebre now. How many times did the Italians? No idea. I don't really know history. We have got there. Zebras the better team at the moment. See Xander going off to the right-hand side. Fusco popping the ball across. Now, 3 metres from the try line here. Looks like that one's stuck in at the moment. Digging around for it. Manages to find it. And has it available. Breaking through. 1 metre short of the try line now. Lions discipline. See his roof. That is getting close. Fusco popping it back across. They're going to go for that same wide wing that they did before. Some step in here from the Zebre fullback. Although onto the ball. That looks like Renzo Duplessis, who would have got the turnover. But they are going back for that initial penalty. Or the initial infringement. But nice bit of work from Zebre. And we have got there to order millions of white flags. Says Kevin, I have no idea what that has to do with the rugby. We have got there Dragons, Zebre, Lions, Sharks. We're the bottom 4 teams when the URC is done. That's a bold call. 2 South African sides. Definitely with the fact that the Sharks last season were inside of that top 8. Lions just narrowly missing out. But yeah, that would be a very poor showing from Plumtree's Sharks. If that is the case. Definitely with the squad that they've got, they've got Ewell Fundermerva now back into the mix. I don't think he's the only signing that they've picked up this year either. Sorry, they kept on losing, says Kevin. And Lions playing in the white kit. They're playing in the every coloured kit. I've seen a little bit of red, yellow, green. It's pretty much just a kind of checkered muddle of all the different colours for the Lions. But yeah, it almost looks like it's like graffiti writing. So there's a bit of pink on there too, bit of orange. Their Stormers might have their glory here now. Nicely taken by Zebre, sitting 5 metres out from the try line. This one not really moving yet, but now again, it's just when those next guys join in that it starts moving forward. This has to be a try, and they are over the line. And Zebre, oh, hang on, time is off here. I believe Tommaso Di Bartolomeo It's got a tough name, that man. They haven't shown it. Oh, there it is. Tommaso Di Bartolomeo is the name. It's probably said a little bit smoother than that. I suppose the Lions remind me of the Lions. So that's something to do with a Lion. Says cool story. And Sharks have the squad, but no drive. And come on, the Lions, you're better than this, says Albertus. But yeah, they are just going to be checking this one to see whether or not it is another disallowed try. And also, we have got their splash. Of course, Sharks cannot drive, but they can swim. Sharks will find their rhythm soon, says Lilia B. And I'm not watching the match, says Jamie. Right, so they are just going upstairs for another TMO here. And there's another siren. Siren goes every 5 minutes here. Right, there's a lot of chat going on at the moment between the referee and the TMO. Oh yeah, a little bit more of a siren as well while they are waiting for the big screen. Work out whether or not this is a legal try. But if it is, Zebre would have a nice lead heading towards that second half. And TMO saved the line, says Haino. Playing a little bit of Queen as well, by the sounds of it. Right, the TMO, what are we looking at here? It's whether or not I believe there is a knock-on. As my best guess. Where are we? Where's that ball? Oh, that ball does come down in a swift hurry, almost a little bit quicker than the player. Roly-poly there for one of the Zebre players too. Right, we're going to see it now. And it is, oh. Okay, that is going to count as a try. They didn't actually show the full replay the second time. They just kind of cut it out and said, yep, no, we're good. And Dr. Hamish giving good rugby medicine today. Now 5 minutes remaining in this first half. 10 points to 3. I wonder if this is the way that the game was supposed to go. I know that they came in a slight favourite, Zebre, but I think the Lions tactically have just been off here. You know, kicking that ball straight back into a side that are willing to run it, as well as just seem to be winning that kicking battle as well. Now, Giacomo Dare to line up this kick. Taking every second possible. Oh, and that one has just snuck over. Lilia, now I spotted my 2 ladies. Everything as well, says Kevin. And we have got the Lions boys. You can do better than 3 points, surely. They might not be the right call, but Zebre deserve it. A misconversion. It just snuck over. It looked like it was going to miss away to the side, to be honest. But it did sneak in that left-hand post, or in fact, it would have been right as he was looking at it. It does make the score now 12 points to 3. Kickoff from Chris Smith, looking to get a lot of distance on it. Again, taken inside of their 22. Zebre, they're just exiting their own 22 extremely well. Like, that's a phenomenal kick. And I will sit the Lions about 40 metres out from their own line. And Zebre kicking very good. Says Jamie, yeah, just in general, they are winning that territory battle, which is something that I think going into this game, the Lions were targeting. They were trying to force Zebre back early, but every time that Zebre have had a kick from inside of their 22, they just get it way down the field. 9-point game already, says Haino there. And Lions made a mistake playing their C team against Zebre today. I don't know if this is a C team. Like, looking through at the lineup, it's a pretty handy looking side. So I guess the big question is, who are the guys, Xander, that you'd say who aren't playing in this game would have made the difference? You know, you look through maybe a JC Pretorius. The fact that he isn't in the starting lineup. They have got Klabakanye off the bench, as well as the youngster Hassing Pede. Reniard Jonk is there. Landsberg as well. But, I don't know. Tricky one. Out, kick downfield. And nicely taken inside of the 22 again. Nice step from Darug. It's an extra, DeRay, sorry, I should say. Got an extra of about 20 metres. And also going so fast, half-time, says Ruth. Yeah, we are only sitting 2.5 minutes away from the half-time break in this contest. Good attack and run forward again there from Mohamed Hassar. Across to the left-hand side, almost a drop ball, but well gathered and almost going straight through a gap there. Just like that, 5 phases. And Zebre have gone from being inside of their 22 to now sitting about 40 metres out, approaching the halfway line. Mafura Wood says Splash TV. Yeah, so having Mafura out on the wing, although looking at the two that they've gone with, in Edwin Keita as well as Angelo Davids, like you'd assume that they would have been relatively happy with those two, you know, heading into this matchup. They are both handy enough. You know, when Angelo David's getting his hands on the ball, he can be extremely effective, although he hasn't really found the rhythm in this game. We see there, is that Kjuan Horn on the far side, just with the hands on the hips, trying to regain a little bit of stamina. Oh, nicely taken by Davids inside of his 22. A defence full of holes for the Lions, says Ruth. And Yonka gets a bloody try second half. Or Yonka get a try, I should say. Now Chris Smith kicking that one downfield. Goes into touch, but again, Zebre are going to find themselves inside of the Lions half. They're going to have a pretty big team talk going into the halftime break. Now line out for Zebre once more. They sit with the 2 tries here, so 2 more would get them the bonus point from this matchup. Now ready to throw it in. They've been pretty consistent across the board when it comes to set piece in this game, Zebre. And again, they're going for the up and under. Midfield chasing after this one, although it does go a little bit too deep just outside of the 22. Kjuan Horn, 2-man tackle on him. Damn, we up at 4 a.m, boys. Says Xavier there. Yeah, nice early morning on a Monday here in New Zealand. A Lions sleep tonight with their defence currently, says Stephanie. Now kick downfield from Kjuan Horn. Well handled just outside of the 22 for Zebre. It's becoming a bit of a kicking battle. Just the 10 seconds remaining in this first half. For the chip of mine, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes we have seen from Zebre off their kicking now. Looking for the skidding one. And that will take us towards the halftime siren, kicking it out. And that is going to be halftime now. Zebre leading in this game at 12 points to 3 over the Lions. It's Lions A team losing against Zebras here. Who would have seen that? Says Xander. And also Forza Zebre. Says Pusik. And there as well. But the crowd will be more than happy with what they have seen throughout this first half. Looks like still a little bit of a shoulder problem there for Mohamed Hassar. The 2 tries being scored by this Zebre side. An intriguing into that first half. Because it did seem like there was almost a mistake from Zebre, but then the Lions, again, rather than running it back due to a shallow kick, they instead decided to kick it themselves and then just pretty much gave it to Zebre to kick it into touch. Well, to be fair, Kiwis are nightbirds, mostly. So he should be up at this time. Says Padzer, yeah, the Kiwi is a nocturnal bird. And it looks like, luckily, the clouds that were going to make the ground a little bit darker have decided to completely go away. Looks like we're going to have a bright, sunny second half of this matchup as well. I believe in Italy at the moment it would be 4:49. We're going to have a quick look. Time in Italy is 4:49 p.m. And nearly time to get up for work. There in New Zealand, 4 a.m. And did your clocks alter this weekend in New Zealand? We don't do that bollocks here. So yeah, as Bruce, they did. So we had daylight saving. Just means that you get that extra hour in the evening so that you're not, going to bed while the sun's still out. Just showing the build-up play for that first try from Zebre. And Kiwi lads are Nightbirds. Sees a Ruth there too. The wide cutout pass into the hands of Batista Stravili. Did score try number 1. He had one disallowed a little bit later on in the match. It was very close to Zebre getting the double. I don't know if the Lions have got this here. Okay. We're 11 hours apart. Yep. So 11 hours rather than the 10. Which is almost easier than the 10, although we had gotten used to 10, but I've already gotten used to the fact that now in South Africa it's 4:50. So yeah, it just makes all the, I guess, times a little bit easier. Do you have kiwi birds in your garden? No. No, they're not really just sitting around in your backyard. Like some regions of New Zealand, like maybe if you're up in the bush. But in terms of town, like you'd struggle to find a pukeko around here. The Kias are normally up by Arthur's Pass and they love to steal your windshield wipers. But, you know, we've got a couple pukekos around kind of more so the farmland and kind of the outer skirts of the town. But no, you struggle to find a kiwi around here. He does. I've seen them. See, it's bad. So you're more likely to see a hedgehog, to be fair. So if you stuck a beak on one of those, you could call it a kiwi. I wouldn't look a mile off. It's just so quick from Zebre as well. In terms of that build-up, only a couple phases inside of the Lions 22, and they were lightning quick to get that ball out wide. Do you think if they continue playing at that pace for the second half, they will be able to find some success? The Lions, they are now $5.25 underdogs. Heading into the second 40 minutes of this game. Are Kiwis loud? As in like the people or the birds? I don't think the kiwi bird makes too much noise. I'm going to have a look. I should remember this, but we learned about them when we were about 7. Are Kiwis loud? It says, yes, Kiwis are loud birds. My apologies. They communicate with piercing, high-pitched calls to mark territory and find mates. So that's what I've been doing wrong. Find mates, you just got to yell really loud, and then you get their attention. The Lions coaching staff must have stern talk. The Lions players, Lions must run the ball, no more kicking. Says Mornay. What sound does the Kiwi make? It's a high, piercing, screeching noise. By the sounds of it, peacocks scream very loudly. They do. There used to be a couple peacocks at the local park. I don't know if they're still there or not. It's a random bit of information that no one needed to know. Hi, everyone. I just tuned in Wellington now and tuned in. Or just arrived in Wellington now and tuned in, says Annie. So hopefully you are doing well. Hope you have enjoyed the weekend of rugby that we have seen so far. And of course, there is more rugby to come in the near future. We will go like that. There we go. These are the upcoming matches. Now, the times are just a little bit off because of the fact that the overlay was made about 3 hours ago. But Munster versus Edinburgh, that will be the first match alongside Scarlets and Stormers. Those two games do overlap for the URC. Then from there, Benetton versus Lions. I can tell you right now, Benetton, they were able to get themselves the win up against the Glasgow Warriors. If the Lions play like this up against Benetton, they will get picked apart. That's the sad reality. They have to be a little bit more strategic with how they play. Zebre, they are going head-to-head up against the Ospreys. Glasgow, they are playing the Dragons. Then Leinster Sharks, Ulster Bulls. Those are the two games, I think, of the weekend that I'm looking forward to the most. And then Cardiff versus Connacht to close out the rugby weekend. Now, there were a couple postponed games from this round of the URC, so I'm not sure when those ones will be played, but I'm hoping that all of these games will go through as they normally would without any postponements, or else that it can get a little bit messy as it does wear on. But the upcoming games for these two sides, for the Lions, like I mentioned, they have got Benetton, then from there they play the Scarlets and Ulster. They will be the two home games, but Benetton is on the road while they are still in Italy. Then for the Zebre side, they have got the Ospreys. Then they play the Stormers at the same location. And then Leinster on the road. Last time that game happened, I think Leinster won about 76 points to 5. That was just after they had lost, I think, in the Champions Cup. So they were pretty fired up. And Zebre got the bulk of that kind of aggression and disappointment from Leinster. So the good news is they won't have that this time. Or at least they shouldn't at the time that it's taken place. We have got the Hi Hamish just joined the commentary. Thanks, mate. There's just no worries at all. It's great to see you for this live stream as well. Yeah, second half just around the corner. Down by 9 at the moment here for the Lions. Lions actually need to actually touch that ball. Well, the thing is they've had a little bit of possession, but then they just kick it away. They give it straight back into the hands of the opposition here. And, yeah, it just doesn't quite seem to be the same as what we've seen from the Lions throughout the URC of the past and also the Currie Cup just recently. It's very important to discuss bird noises at halftime. It absolutely is. It's a crucial part of the education system. And like Stads and Hines, they are pretty loud. Says Badzer. Hamish, you can sing like Brian Johnson, AC/DC Scream, and the females will come running wild. Says Ruth. I don't know about that. I don't think they have as of yet, although I don't do a lot of screaming. Maybe I need to start screaming more. But then, do you do it inside or outside? Because I would assume if I went to the local pub and screamed, they'd probably kick me out. And also, I know a lot of people, so it wouldn't go well. We have got there, what's your favourite bird? Says Xander to Patty. And probably be a tui. And they're just so nice to listen to. That's very, I don't know, that turned wholesome real quick in the chat. It's nice to see. I like a penguin personally. I think they're funny little fellows. The way that they waddle around and, slide down on the belly. But that's just me. I did quite enjoy the movie Happy Feet too. I have seen that one. I don't think I've seen the second one though. Scream to it right now. It's currently 4 a.m. So I don't think I should scream while everyone's asleep. And 44-hour fast so far. But I have to cook something for Annie. That arrived here now, says Bruce. What about an owl? They are great. They are. They've got weird faces sometimes, the owls. They look quite surprised. Which I guess, they probably are. But, an owl can be, it's a decent bird. They don't have too many owls in New Zealand, not that I've seen anyway. Penguins, little men in tuxedos. Says Ruth. I do love a penguin also, says Padza. Penguins, I don't think anyone's ever been offended by a penguin. Newt. Good old Pingu, eh? It was an old school classic. I don't even know what years that ran from, but I do still remember it. And good day, Mr. Kiwi. Do they still sell kiwi pie? Always juicy and tasty? I don't think so. I think kiwis are endangered here in New Zealand. So if you put one in a pie, you go to prison. So yeah, they probably they have wallaby pies now actually here in New Zealand. Wallabies are considered as a pest, so normally people put them down, they disappear. I was in a moorpork before. What did I miss? Says Big Rick, you've missed a bit of talk about birds, but also Zebra had a very good first half. Lions kicking the ball straight back to them, and Zebra just put together some really nice phase play, and we're winning that territory battle. So they sit with the 2 tries to the none that we've seen from the Lions, and already Zebra have more points than they had last time that the 2 sides played. Go Zebra. Says Johan there. And Paul Wally in a pie. And I was, have you ever had reindeer meat? They sell that here, and I've never tried it. No, I don't. I know that they have deer here that you can buy, like as in deer here, not here of a deer. But yeah, I didn't mean for that to rhyme as well. But yeah, no, I don't think they have reindeer too often here. I know Kiwi Birds has long beaks, and I also love the sound they make. So here's Mornay. And also we have got there Big Rig Joe. Welcome. We're discussing birds. What's your favourite bird? Says Xander. Surf's Up is the best penguin movie. I don't think I've seen it. But now I feel like I probably should. If you watch Mr. Popper's Penguins, that's another one with penguins in it. Happy Feet, I don't know how many Happy Feet movies they made, but I've only seen the first one when they're slapping the ice and all sorts with their little flippers and their feet. What's a foot of a penguin called? It's not a flipper, is it? What would you call that other than a foot? There'd be a name for it. Like a webbed foot? Don't know. Let me know. We have got there, does a reindeer need a hat stand? Says Bruce. That's probably a reference to something, but I assume because of the rain, is it? That you're saying? Surf's Up, great movie, right? Says Ruth. And Lions will come, or will have to come out galloping. Says Ruth, and both sides now back out onto the field. Ready to go for the second half of the contest. Currently 9 points separating them. Penguins have web feet. I think you're spot on, says Joss. I'll take your word for it. You are a teacher, aren't you? Although you are more the science side of things, aren't you, Joss? But I'm sure you've worked out the anatomy of penguins at some point in your career. Just going to have a quick look. We're going to, while these two sides making their way out, what are penguins' feet called? My search history is all over the place. Webbed feet. Yeah, they're just known as webbed feet. So they are feet, but they're just webbed. There you go. I thank you for what you do for the game of rugby. I love the timing of that. Thank you very much, Albertus, as we're just talking about the birds and everything along those lines. But nah, we've done a lot of streams throughout the channel's history. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying them, even when we go off on a random tangent. Normally it's while there's a stoppage in play, though. And Zebre ready to get back underway here. Whistle blown. We're underway for the second half. Down by 9 here, the Lions. To try and find a way back into this game. Don't stroke a penguin, because it will wipe fatty oil off their coat, and they will freeze to death. Yeah. I think I had heard that. Not as severely, brutal as that, but I just know you're not supposed to touch penguins in general, and you're also not supposed to take pictures of them with the flash on, because they go, army eyes. But they can't say that because they're a penguin. But now, the ball has gone into touch. The Lions, they will have themselves the line out, just inside of Zebre territory. I'm not then, tell you what, that's a word and a half. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pronounce that. They are smart and like humans. My sister used to have one. I lived for over a decade, but then died on Christmas Day. That's pretty brutal. A budger regiscence. It's a word that I did not know till now. I see your hair has grown nicely back. It must be a relief. Not really. It's in that middle stage at the moment. I feel like it's weird to say, but I actually preferred it slightly shorter. Like I'm in that middle patch, how it's sticking up in a weird way. And I kind of want it to either get longer now, or there was even consideration of chopping it shorter again. But yeah, it is good that it's at least growing back. That's a bonus. Touching non-domesticated animals is a big no-no, says Big Rig. Well, it's also the case of some animals, when you touch them, they lose their scent, don't they? Or they pick up your scent and then the mother doesn't recognize them. I did hear about the Emperor Penguin. Swam over 2,500 miles and went to Australia. He just wanted a holiday, didn't he? The question I have for him is, did he know he was in Australia when he got there? Was he like, oh, it's warmer now. I must be somewhere different. I need the Lions to put on a masterclass in the second half. They currently have got themselves the line out, sitting about 10 metres out, or maybe closer to 15. Oh, that's a poor pass, but it has gone backwards. Richard Krill back out there on the field after his HIA, now going to the short side, dropping the head. Getting a little bit closer. We've seen a couple great steals already. Locatelli's normally one to keep an eye on when they do get into this kind of position on the park. Those numbers are so hard to read on the back of the Lions kits. Getting closer to the try line now. Shifting away to the left-hand side, the big man, Oosterhuizen. Oh, that was almost illegal. I think there might have even been the penalty advantage now going the way of the Lions. No, in fact, they didn't give the penalty advantage for playing the ball off the hands. Playing the ball off the feet. Although his feet, I believe, are not webbed. I haven't seen them, though. 10 metres from the line. Across, Nico Steyn. Flat run forward. Almost a stealing opportunity in the breakdown again there for Zebre. Oh, and the penalty going the way of the Zebre side. They're strong in those breakdowns. And how's our Hamish Greenies from Namibia? My beloved Lions are terribly unpredictable, says Bruno. Yeah, you just never quite know what you're going to get with this Lions side. At the moment, the second half has started a lot better than we saw from the first. It was taken to a zoo/shelter. They had to spray it with cold water all day until they could arrange transport back home. We have got there, then tried to slide on the sand like it was ice and just face planted. And I was confused as hell. I couldn't figure out sand. I know that that's sad, but at the same time, it's just a bit funny, isn't it? Hopefully he returned all right and he was all good to go, but what do you have to do with that? Do you have to, pay freight, or do you buy him a ticket on a... You wouldn't buy him a ticket on a plane, of course, but do you have to, it'd be expensive to ship a penguin, I would think. Ostriches can kick. Beautiful eyelashes. So here's Roof now. Another pick and go from Nico Steyn. Wonder how Hassim Pede's going to do in this game. We'll be making his way off the bench. A big opportunity from the under-20 side of things from that man. Again, looking for the steal and the breakdown from Zebre. Can't quite get it. Ostrich feathers. Feathers and biltong, big business. So here's Roof. Another step there. A big collision. Left-hand side again. Kicked him behind from Stain. This one's going to sit up in the end goal. Or sit up in the 22. And they call the mark. So Penguin decided to tell his friends, I'm going to Australia for a holiday. I'll be back later and tell you if it's cold or not. And Lions just can't break through. Yeah, they've been close multiple times. But this physicality that we're seeing from Zebre has been thoroughly impressive throughout this one. We have got Willem in the chat as well. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. I think it got lucky that it became a news story. Otherwise, I don't think anyone would have paid to ship it home. I wonder what its name was. Do they send it home with an Aussie name? I don't know what a good Aussie name would be. But hopefully they got to name it. Now line out throw here. Lions have been smashed backwards here. They're just not moving forward. For a majority of this game, it seems to be phase after phase that they're just stuck. And Ostrich can slice their stomach open. Well, ideally, they wouldn't want to do that. Bruce or Sheila. Sheila would be a great... Although Emperor Penguin, is that female or male? I think it's both, isn't it? But Bruce would be a great name. Definitely, a little bit of Finding Nemo there. Now sitting 25 metres out from the line. Nico Stain. Chris Smith with the flat pass. Going across, but well marked again by Zebre. It's tricky to, at the moment, not just say how strong Zebre are going. Oh, nice inside ball from Nico Stain. The no-look pass, but guess what? Oh, penalty. Going in favour of the Lions. Nico Stain with a pick and go. It won't be the penalty advantage. I don't now. In fact, I think I just heard the referee say you have got the advantage. There, Zebre in off the feet. Another penalty. This is getting close to yellow card territory. And Nemo, not a bad name. So yeah, Stephanie there. If you had to pick a fight with a bird, same size as you, what would you pick? Oh. I'd prefer not to fight a bird. I think it's the easier way, because like a bird my size is probably a pretty solid looking bird. That only really gives you ostrich, penguin of a big kind. And Stormers play Zebre in 2 weeks' time. The Stormers never lost to Zebre at home or away. There's Monet, and the Lions have never lost to Zebre either, but at this stage, they're going in that slightly wrong direction, to be honest. It is a legit cool holiday, having blokes spray you with chill water and stuff you with fish. Yeah. You probably have to pay a lot of money to have that happen. Hamish can take an emu. He's not Australian. Says Big Rig. All right, looks like there is going to be the injury here. Nikita making his way on. And when Willem. There's Willem there too. And it could be any bird though. Oh, so you're saying like you can pick a random small bird and make it my size. Either way though, it's still got a beak, doesn't it? So I feel like that's, tricky enough. And given the Kiwi. Says Ruth. Now ready to throw this ball in the Lions 5 metres out from the line with Franco Marais. Now 5 metres out. Trying to get this one moving forward. In fact, that isn't Marais. That's actually the replacement. Monet Brandon has that number 16 and hooker option. He just slips over short of the line, though. He's still crawling forward. Right, they need an option. Looking to go off to the side now, just short for Oosterhuizen. Who's it going to be that they commit to the line? Renzo Duplessis just short again. Trying to get that steal in the breakdown. Zebre unable to do so. Nico Stain almost gets played as the 9, and it's another penalty. Double lower the whistle. And this will be now a yellow card. What about a penguin from Batman? My money's on Hamish. In a hand-to-hand fight. I've never actually seen Batman. So I am unsure what that bird is like. 1 second, we'll go like this. I'll go like that as well. And beaks. Yeah, the beaks are the ones that you got to watch out for. Eyes on my keyboard. Looks like he has smashed his head on the keyboard. Looking at that. And it is the yellow card for Locatelli. He's frustrated as he has been one of the main guys who have been able to steal those balls, call an ambulance. Well, the ambulances are very close by. And we have heard the sirens about 7 times throughout this match. Penguin is a human being. Lots of adaptions. But he's usually fat and out of shape. I was played by Danny DeVito in the Hollywood movie. So here's Big Rig. Seeing now, it's going to be a Clubber Kanye to make his way on. So just adding a little bit of a reinforcement to their scrum. Ready to throw it in. Once again, this one's moving. Mornay Brandon at the back. Looks like the Lions are going to be targeting that rolling maul. This one not really moving just now. Oh, getting through though. And Mornay Brandon scores the try for the Lions. He pops up with success. And that is a crucial time to be scoring a try. And it is Mornay Brandon, the replacement 16. I like how they haven't put his name up on the screen yet because they have no idea who it is because they can't read the numbers on the back of the shirts. There we go. Mornay Brandon, this try scorer. He's only been on the field for a very short stint. Happy Sunday. Says Big Rig and hi Hamish, hi all. Says Wild Lobster, welcome and hope you're doing extremely well. We're just saying, oh, does he? No, he crawls there. That's actually propelling himself forward. This will, if they look at this, this would actually be no try. But I don't think they're going to check it. You're allowed one movement. Here we go. Double blow of the whistle I've just heard there. The knees are down for Mornay Brandon. This is going to be no try. And happy Sunday to you all. And very different energy between this game and the Bulls versus Leinster. Maybe Lions have lost all their supporters. Says Shongalolo. I think it's just because of the big weekend, isn't it? Now, a lot of people probably are still hungover from that Springboks game and celebrating it. We have got that, oh no, says Ruth. Yeah, this one's going to be no try. Sadly, Mornay Brandon did go down. I don't know why I felt like I wanted to add a doodah on the end of that sentence, but yeah, he's on the ground there. That is held and then crawls at the line. Does go over. Bulls fans are known for their energy, says Big Rig. So yeah, he's down there. That is held. And then you are allowed one movement, but you're not allowed to propel yourself forward. Straight away, Alejandro Fusco was going like this. He was getting the finger waving going. And we love torches in South Africa with barbecue braai and salads, says Leon. So I think this is going to be no try for Brandon. Never fully gets back to his feet. So it's not going to stand here. And it's going to be the penalty to Zebre on the 5 metre line. I don't have numbers on my shirts. Just my name in case someone steals it, says Bruce. It's going to be no try. Penalty to Zebre. I think Frankie Horn was trying to argue that there, but it is the right decision. Sadly, he was down on the ground. Like they've said, they're just not quite getting the one that they would have liked. We have their Lions are not having a good day. No, they've had a disallowed try now. We've seen so far Zebre have had a disallowed one too. And the score, even though Zebre are down a man, is still sitting 12 points to 3 at this point in time. And we'll be able to kick this one to the halfway line. Saying there a little bit of a change in the back row for ZEBRE PARMA as well. Will be the line out here, 25 metres from their own line. I have 3 England shirts. One has my name on the back, but it is number 9. I should really be 3 since I'm a terrible scrum half, says Big Rig. Yeah, see, I normally go for the 9 out of all the options, only because of the fact that I don't think I'm quick enough to play any other position, and I'm not big enough to be a forward. So that just leaves me as the only jersey I could have as a 9. Lion shirts are psychedelic, hard on the eyes indeed. Yeah, I've struggled all throughout this match to even read any numbers on the back. Like, I'm sure there's reasoning behind it because it's got like the graffiti writing on it, but you can't pick up the number without knowing roughly who the player is beforehand. Going off the left-hand side now, big collision. To the right-hand side here again, attack and run from Edwin Keita. Across to the left. I got 2, one for me and one for my girlfriend, which is double dumb since we're both 9s. So that implies we're on different sides, says Big Rig. Or maybe you guys are just starting 9s on different days and you're going 50-50 of the game time. Oh, that's going to be a steal in the breakdown again for Zebre. So you could have got her maybe the number 21, but then that could have caused an argument in terms of who should be the starting 9. So, yeah. And makes sense. Women's and men's teams, says Big Rig. Yeah, it's true. Just in there again, Zebre. Straight into the breakdown. Straight over the ball. And there's a huge collision as well in that case. Oh. Okay, I think they're just talking about the yellow card. Oh no, they're trying to find the yellow number 10. When says Willem there. Currently 51 minutes down. And at this contest, they are just talking about that heavy collision. I'm going to quickly check those odds again to see how much of an underdog the Lions are here. At the moment, I imagine they are not high up in those odds. Nice attack and run forward this time from the Lions, though. Getting it into the wider area on the field now. Nice attack and run from Edwin Keita. Offloads up. This is some good pace being shown here. I think it was the number 13 in this case, which was Henko Finvake for this game. But once again, very hard to read the numbers. Chris Smith, pass on the outside to Angelo David's going to show his pace. Bit of a missed tackle there. Down the short side. This time going to be the try. And what number's that? That's a number 1, SJ Kutsia. Will be the man who ends up scoring it. That's a good run from a prop to be in the support position there. Yeah, you really gotta squint your eyes and you gotta focus in hard to work out what number are on the backs of these players. But yeah, out of all the guys to be there down the wing after a big breakaway, you would not think a prop would be the first man ready for that pass. They have Carnival Festival coloured shirts. Says Ruth. Lions numbers should have been in white. I was thinking the same thing earlier on. Yeah, it's got a little white outline, but that doesn't do a huge amount. Currently 52 minutes in, and the Lions have their first try of the day. Oh, and that one's missing away to the side, making the score now 12 points to 8. Lions kit doesn't seem practical, says Purple Dragon. Yeah, see, last year I think it was just a plain white kit, wasn't it? And it seemed to do the job. Or at least that's the away kit that I remember for the Lions. It may not have been last year. I'm putting my tablet on charge by for now, listening on Annie's phone now. Says Bruce. Yeah, you see it there that it was actually Kjuan Horn. I think, oh no, in fact it was Renzo Duplessis who was trying to be in support. And he was losing the foot race to SJ Kutsia. Now it looks like the yellow card, still another 4.5 minutes remaining here. Whoever designed those shirts didn't think it through. Yeah, I think the idea of it, I'm sure that there's some sort of story behind it in terms of what the colouring is and whatnot, but it does need to be white numbers on the back to make it like 5 times easier to read them. Keep scoring, Lions, says Bruce. And Lions need red shirts. Their colours used to be red. I think it's just their alternative strip. I think they're still in red when they're at home. The Lions. It's going to be kicked off. Zebre will feel like they've lost a little bit of momentum here, although that is a drop ball from the Lions, who now find themselves still inside of their own 22. Now, Nico Stain back across to the right-hand side again. Told to use it. Juan Horn. It's actually, to be fair, they haven't kicked it as much. Oh, that was a very good kick. I think they're yelling touched there from Kjuan Horn, and it is going to be a Lions line out. That is a massive mistake made by the Zebra winger. As the pendulum swinging, says Real. I think momentum is certainly swinging in the favour of the Lions here with this yellow card against Zebra. We're going to see the replay now. Yeah, trying to get that ball back into the field of play, Giovanni. And it could not quite rein it in. Oh, they've just actually said momentum swinging. Nicely taken, Lions. 40 metres out from the line, Mornay Brandon. Now, that's a very flat pass, if not forward, right in front of the referee. Now, Stain back across here. Bit of space for Richard Creel. Why don't Lions go all the way and make their numbers reflective silver? Won't miss that, says Albert. I'm neutral and I want the game to be close, so I hope the Lions do something, says Big Rig, and they've just done something indeed. They've knocked the ball on. There's frustration there to not quite being able to bring that one back in. This will be a nice change of tempo here with the fact that there is going to be the scrum. Hamish with sidekick, says Roof. Maybe. Because, or unless, depending on the delay, he may have said it before we said it, but it was just delayed for me because I'm watching on URC TV. All right, looks like another change here for Zebre. I think referee just telling both sides off a little bit at scrum time. I want to say that that's Thomas Dominguez, who has made his way. Oh no, in fact, Fusco is still out there. Must have been another change in the back line. And it is actually Farias who is making his way on in the number 23 jersey, replacing starting fullback. So I assume he will just slot straight in to that role, no problem. Ready to put this ball in. And they have stayed up quite nicely there. Being told to use it. Back across to the right-hand side. They attack and run forward from Zebre, sitting 40 metres out from their own try line. Fusco going back across to the left. This is where the Lions' defence also needs to be a little bit tested. Can't allow those easy metres to be made by Zebre. We have got there, I'm not in front of my TV either. Kiwi lads is enough. So here's Roof going up for Angelo Davids. Takes it nicely. Almost accidentally kicked the player in the face out on that wing. Belloni, but now down the short side. I think this is Henko van Veek with some plenty of pace to go with it. Another step here. Lions sitting 30 metres out. Richard Creel cleaning it up as Frankie Horn. Moving to the right-hand side now. Pinning the ears back. Renzo Duplessis. Edouard Keita breaking through and scores the try. The Lions have taken the lead now in this contest. And just like that, the game has completely shifted in terms of momentum. And the thing is, the Lions are now as close as Zebre are to getting a bonus point from this game. So that is definitely something. Now the second half comeback, it's looking that way. We've seen it a few times in the URC. In fact, we've seen it quite a bit throughout just this weekend in general. 1 second, we'll go like this. We'll go like that as well. A very nice try out wide. Edouard Keita manages to score at the ex-Sharks, man. There's one thing that I guess they gained in a way by losing Edouard van der Merwe. They gained Keita. And anything can happen, says Dante. Absolutely it can, and anything will happen throughout the last 23 minutes of this game. And it's kicked. And it is missed away to the side for Chris Smith. That means that the score is 1 point separated. Now, fun fact, the last time these two sides played at this location, we did see a 1 point victory for the Lions. And at this point in time, I think we're about to see maybe something similar here. And Lions can put teams away in the second half. Go the Lions, another conversion miss. Yeah, it hasn't been a very easy kicking day by the looks of it, from the amount that has been missed throughout this matchup. And Lions will win. Says Willem there. Now it is kicked off high and long down towards the sideline. Nicely taken this time by it was Ruan Fenter. And Smith hasn't been on target today, says Ruth. Oh, big collision. Still inside of their 22, the Lions. Cross into the pocket. Now Kuan Horn looking to sink it downfield off the left boot. Another nice angle. Doesn't quite get the distance on it that he would have liked. Now another line out here. Zebre looking like they're emptying their bench. About 2 or 3 different players making their way onto the field. And also we see the return from Locatelli. And that was an expensive yellow card. 2 tries scored throughout that period of time. And please put the try scorer up like you did in the international, says Daryl. So far we've seen Edouard Keita score. We've seen SJ Kutsia. And then for Zebre so far in this game, it was Batista Stavili. And then also Tommaso Di Bartolomeo are the 2 try scorers. See, Volpe has made his way onto the field for Zebre. So another 21 minutes left. This game could easily go either way at this point in time. Back across to the right now. Trying to take contact. Frankie Horn. Good low tackle. Lions in the breakdown almost. Managing to get the steal, but the referee says he wasn't on the ball. Instead was on the body. Back into the pocket. This one's going to be kicked high again by Zebre. I have a feeling Lions will end up last this year. I don't think so. I think they'll win enough of their games to get in a good position, the Lions. They might be once again one of the sides that do just narrowly miss out on the top 8. It does seem to be their trend at the moment. Nicely taken under the high ball. Kuan Horn, another offload off to the right. Finds Chris Smith, who's lined up with a smashing tackle from Fusco. Coming a bit of a kicking battle at the moment. Looking for the 50-22. Awkward bouncing ball. Cleaned up at the back from Chris Smith again. The siren still sounding. Smith chasing after this one himself. Bouncing back onto the side of the Lions. Great pickup. And the penalty, though, goes the way of Zebre. Klabakanya, the man who took it cleanly and then just locking over the ball again here. Well, this ZEBRE Parma side, I believe Ferrari this time. And who managed to win it. And Fusi's Ruth. Talking about it at the moment, how Zebre look like they have tired heavily in the last little while. And I think that is why we saw some of those changes being made. 12-13, says Willem. Already. Oh. I thought for half a second they were actually going to line up the 3 points there. But it does look like kicking for the touchline is going to be the better option. Okay, they're just actually talking about Klabakanya, about his hearing for his positive test is now in December by the sounds of it. But the head coach, Brunello, for Zebre, he won't be too disappointed with how this game is going, but they do know they need at least one more try. I feel like the Lions have still got one more in them, if not two. And now, nice rolling maul again from Zebre. Part of their game that they have used effectively throughout today. Did actually lead to one of their 2 tries. Do you miss the old Super Rugby with Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa? A little bit, but at the same time, I do enjoy seeing the South African sides in the URC and Champions Cup. So, I think for those who just watch Super Rugby and don't watch the URC, they do miss the South African sides a bit more. But because we cover both competitions on the channel, I still get to see all the sides anyway, if that makes sense. And now, nice pass off to the left-hand side. Zebre, 10 metres out from the try line. Fusco firing it back infield. Now the 5 metres out for Rugari. Back across the hands of the big number 6, Locatelli. He's trying to make up for that mistake where he got his yellow earlier on. Chris Smith makes the tackle on him. Now, going to be available for Zebre again. Pick and go from Hassa. This one's gone back. Fusco slings it out wide. Little pop pass in behind. Looking to get it. The hands of the dangerous winger, Belloni. 2 Lions players in there, but they can't get that not releasing turnover. Still 3 metres out, almost breaking through. Some good physicality there. That is very close, but it's held up. Doing just enough to stop Mako Zanon from getting over. Did you get some sleep today, Hamish? Although it's AM there. I managed like 4 hours. But I didn't keep track of it. I know that I had about a 5-hour window where I wanted to sleep. But I was awake for quite a bit of it. But I'd say a solid 4 hours or so would have been on the cards. It's going to be a tricky one to know what to do after this stream, because it will be just before, or it will be around 4:45 in the morning. So then I got to make the decision, do I just stay up for the day, or do I go to sleep for maybe 2 or 3 hours and then get up again? I can sleep after the game though, says Big Rick. I can get a little bit of sleep, but I'll probably have to only sleep till maybe about 8, just in case I am needed for the working side of things. 17 minutes remaining between these 2 sides too, I should mention, and a sub has been made. Duplessis is off, and Stenkamp makes his way on. Zebre is at the same level as Western Force or the Rebels. This was Super Rugby, says Shongololo. I just said there, last 20 minutes of the contest. This is where sides lately have been making the big calls. And this is a big one from Zebre. They've decided to go for the 3 points. Just slap a go on fishing sign on your door and get 8 hours. Says Big Rig. You don't know whether or not that would work. Oh, there's a man having a big yawn in the stands. He wants to see a couple more tries. For the past few months, a 4-hour sleep is a long time for Hamish. Says Wild, and that one has gone over. And it's going to make the score between these 2 sides now 13 points to 12. We have there, hey Hamish, we got rid of the gate on our deck. Now the neighbour's dog comes into our house sometimes and it makes us smile. Well, as long as you're not against the dog coming in and saying hi, I guess it's all well and good. Do not disturb sign, says Ruth. Now, the score goes a little bit more in favour of Zebre by the 2 points at this stage. Hassan will make his way off. It's for the final 16 minutes of this game. It could easily go either way at the moment. I feel like the Lions, they haven't won that territory battle for the past about maybe 5 minutes or so. Now, if they get themselves one big moment here, could make all of the difference. Local story, bro. Says Ruth in there as well. Oh, looks like Chris Smith, actually the player getting taken off the field for the Lions. He's frustrated. But unfortunately for him, it hasn't been his best game. He's been missing the kicks. And of course, when you go down to the wire, you want to be able to get those 3-pointers when they're available. He hasn't really been able to do that so far. But nicely taken inside of the Zebre 22. They will kick it back downfield. We get ourselves another line out. I feel like we've had a massive amount of line outs throughout this game. I'm not sure what the exact number would be, but I would think it would be more than 20 worth at this point in time. 15-13. So here's Willem there too. And also we have got there, his kicking was terrible, and agreed Ruth. And there as well. A line out for... Is that Zebra's line out on the halfway line? No, never mind. It was the Lions. I couldn't tell because of the kit from a distance. Now sitting on the halfway line, it goes Stain. Back across to the left-hand side. That's not a good sign. Dobella just made his way onto the field to replace Chris Smith. And he has just dropped the ball. So that is probably the last thing that they wanted when you've just made that switch. Guy who comes on, who you hope will be in that better form, makes the mistake from the get-go. Now scrum feed for Zebre just inside of the Lions up. We haven't seen a huge amount of scrums throughout this game, but in the early stages, Zebre were winning penalties from them. Now ready. Again, a man's yawn in the crowd, Hamish tells us. And our Bruce yawns, very contagious. I was actually quite surprised that I didn't end up yawning from watching him do it, but we managed to keep our mouths just shut enough during that stage. It's weird because even the word yawn is contagious in a way. Like if I said yawn about 7 times in a row, I think that some people in the comments or in the chat would say that they just yawned. If I keep saying yawned, the word yawn. Did it work? Probably didn't. Now, inside of the 22 here, kick downfield, Kjuan Horn. It's almost yawn with a little bit of a difference. Oh, drop ball from Zebre. Pressure was on. And a fumble at the back. Long tournament for the Lions. I did just now, thanks. Says Richard there. And Yawn says Roof and 159 in the chat and only a few likes. Come on, people, like and subscribe. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We have got plenty more URC coming up next weekend. Also in the near future, the November Internationals going to be taking place. I yawned. It worked. Says Tony in there. Well, there you go. I don't know the science behind it, but it just seems to. No internationals for weeks. Unless you love a bit of Brazil versus Paraguay, then you've got your international covered for next week. Lions, yawn. Says good story. And Willem. It said Willem. And also, where are Japan and South Africa playing? I think they're playing... Aren't they playing in England for that matchup? So South Africa actually don't have any more home games throughout the rest of the year. When is that? Are you covering it? It is taking place next week on Sunday morning at, I believe, about 5 a.m. I think it actually overlaps with Leinster versus the Sharks. Oh, close to the line. Edwin Keita just keeping that ball in the field of play. Ready now with a little bit of a step, just 1 metre short. Looking around, ball is out in front, getting close to the try line. Just can't quite reach out though. For it would have been the number 7. Nico Stain, pick and go. He's not quite big enough to be doing that, but I think that Ruan Fente, he will back himself to have another carry here. Oh, that's a rough pass though from the Lions. They've got themselves a penalty advantage. Missed pass from Dobella. Frustration there from Angelo Davids. I think was almost swearing at his teammate for how that one worked. Now again going off to the right-hand side. That's the second game, says Big Rig. And apologise, says Big Rig there. It's Japan versus Australia. Not the box. Wait, that's the second game. The box is in Wembley, says Big Rig. Now 5 metres out from the line. Lions have got themselves another opportunity. Oh, it's going to be a quick tap here by the looks of it. They've decided that will be the better option, although the time is now off. 68 minutes through. 2 points separating these two sides, and the Lions are the team that are leading at this point in time. Yeah, Dobella has had 2 mistakes so far. He dropped the ball. I'm actually yawning now, Hamish, says Ruth. Looks like a change here about to be made for Zebre. It's been a lower scoring game, but just like the rest of this round, it has been close from start to finish. We see there DeRay is making his way onto the field. Oh no, sorry, he is making his way off of the field. And that is actually going to be for the replacement hooker. Pretty much have managed to do something the likes of the All Blacks and Australia and England as well as the French will never achieve. That is to lose to the Japanese. Says Kevin. And then they travel to Old London Town to lose to the Box. Says Big Rig, that one's going to be actually put into touch. It did seem like a tap was on the cards initially. But now massive moment in the game. Line out here. Mornay Brandon. He had a strike disallowed earlier on for crawling. So he certainly won't be doing that again. But if the Zebra side are not careful, what they might be doing is conceding. Oh, they didn't throw it in. They actually ended up doing a little bit of a trick play there. I don't know if it was on purpose. They were looking for almost like a rolling maul situation, and then they changed their mind. Now 5 metres out from the try line here for the Lions. Another pick and go. Joining into the breakdown was the man at number 7. He did score last week, Ruan Fenta. Which is why I think that maybe out of the loose forwards, he could be the most likely Klabakanye. Driven backwards. Now, that's a loose ball. It's going to go back into the hands of the Lions once more. Here goes Stain. Popping it up, just taking the collision there is Ruan Fenta. Ball set again to the left-hand side. Klabakanye, he's wrestled back a couple metres again here. Seems to be the one at the moment that they are targeting to try and put in a big hit. Here goes Stain. Cross to the right-hand side. See that bright headgear of Ruan Fenta. I don't know why, but I think he's going to score. For some reason, I get that feeling. But Stain now moving that one across. Dobella into the wide channel. Missed tackle there from Zebre. Now back across again. Big chopping tackle down from the Zebre defence. Now popping it in behind. Mornay Brandon trying to get the bump off. Now looking for this one again. Little sell of the dummy. They're going to start moving this one. Dobella lined up. No advantage as of yet. Edouard Keita. He's already got himself 1 try in this game. Can't quite get another. Now right hand side. Klabakanye. Short run. And I believe he's actually injured someone there. Ruan Fenta. But the penalty going against the Lions. Side entry. And come on, Zebra, says James. A good effort by the Lions. This will be close. Or to be this close, says Shongololo. What you think of the majestic ostrich, as in like just the bird in general. They're interesting looking things, aren't they? I always look at them and think their legs are a little bit too thin to be able to hold up that big body of theirs. But they seem to do the job. You know, you don't hear too often of an ostrich breaking its leg. This looks like a bad injury at the moment. I think it is Giacomo Ferrari, who has stayed down 10 minutes. Is a long time in rugby. It absolutely is. It has felt like an eternity for this last about 10 minutes that we've just witnessed, but I feel like that is just because both sides, you know, when they're that close and all you need is just one breakthrough for someone to get the win, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. We might actually end this game 15-13. And Ostrich, are you calling me fat? Says a big rig there, but we're going to see it. Oh, that's an ugly one for him. Unfortunately, it was just the ricochet of his teammate. It looks like Ferrari's going to try and continue here, although he probably should be off for an HIA. Wait till you see giraffes. Says Big Rig and Lions. Boom, says Ruth. Penalty does go the way of Zebre here. Martin Roger. Kick it towards the sideline. I know we lose every game this season. Cash Van Rooyen needs to go, says Menelik. Just the 9 minutes left on the clock now. More than enough time for either of these sides to get themselves that victory. I think Lions will get a try in the last minute, says James. Are you thinking that Zebre will get any points before then, James? Because the thing is, the way I'm looking at this game at the moment, I am for some reason thinking Zebre will get a 3-pointer and then the Lions will score and miss the conversion and we get a second draw for the round. That's what I'm feeling at the moment. Now, that probably won't happen, and the chances of that happening, I would think, are even slimmer than either of these sides winning by quite a margin. That one going close to the sideline, getting ready to jump up for it. Didn't actually need to, but it's another penalty, this time going the way of the Lions. That is going to be for offside. Now, I could say that the Lions to score first, and then Zebre to take the draw. It could be the other option, but looks like Dobella, they are going to kick this one towards the touchline, so not quite backing their kicking here. The Lions, you can ride an ostrich here when you visit South Africa, but you need to weigh less than 100 kg limit. If anyone who's interested, says Xander. And Lions last minute try, says Ruth. 22 metres out from the line. 8 minutes remaining now on the clock. Like I've said, it is a knife-edge type of game here between these two teams. Ready to throw it in 100 kg, says Ruth. Now goes in. Nicely taken. 22 metres out from the line. Looping around there with some pace was Henko van Wyk. Hasim Pede. This already, I don't want to say too much bad about Nico Stain, but already Hasim Pede has upped the tempo here. Since he's made his way onto the field, the under-20 star goes back into the pocket to Dobella. Back across to the left-hand side now. Little shovel on here for the Lions. Just can't quite get that ball moving on even more. And that is some nice work in the breakdown. Almost getting the steal. Now 15 metres out from the line and new advantage here. It should be an easy enough 3 if they want it. But I think they're going for the try here. The Lions, rather than taking on the 3 points. Little chip in behind, nicely taken. Offload there, and just about held up. No, gets it down. The Lions score. And it's Mornay Brandon now gets his try. That was disallowed before. Okay, there's a lot of talk going on at the moment from the referee. I think they might just check to see whether or not there was a forward pass here near the build-up. Yeah, they're going upstairs. They are checking it again. Can Mornay Brandon have his first try, or will he have his next one disallowed as well? Lions, you can make us proud. So we're going to see it there from Kjuan Horn. It's that pass there that it looked like Mornay Brandon was definitely in line with Kjuan Horn. We're going to see the replay now. That to me looks like it's very flat. TMO saves Zebre. Okay, they've called it as a try. They looked at it twice and said, nah, she's all good. They have just cleared it. And Dobella gets the kick over. The Lions now leading by the 7 points. Or sorry, by the 5 points, I should say. And boy, Zebras are so close. How come? Can't make a good rugby video game? I have no idea. I think it's just down to the companies who are making it. Okay, the commentators aren't so sure that one went backwards. And Kjuan Horn, he's having a bit of a laugh about it too. He may have thought that it was going to be disallowed. Hey, yo, Lions are bad, says MQ2 and FIFA Pro Evo, UFC and Madden make billions. Rugby has nothing. Yeah, I think it's just the market. You know, they don't have a big enough audience to entice those big companies. Like, I know that there were rumors at one point that 2K were considering a rugby game, and maybe that could happen heading towards that Rugby World Cup if it is, since it is in the USA for 2031, close to the sideline, nicely taken by the Lions, and getting the offload on the inside. Hasim Pede, I think that man's made all the difference just off the bench in terms of the impact player. Rugby is a harder game to make, says James, and also because of how technical and how complex some of the rules are, it actually is very difficult to be able to get right. Oh, Hasim Pede back into the pocket here. Kjuan Horn under pressure. And in the end, that is a very good exit close to the sideline, but doesn't go out. Here comes Zebre on the counter-attack. Running it straight at Frankie Horn. And even if it's not yearly, and I think the lads who made Madden with the same engine could squeeze out a decent rugby game, and forward pass says, hey, no. Oh, goes into the hands of the Lions. Oh, Kjuan Horn, that one has gone off the side of his boot, and it's out on the full. This game is still not over. 5 minutes on the clock. They could do what Tony Hawk skateboarding or WWE do, just make the game wacky and fun. says Big Rig. Because I know there was a Rugby Sevens mode in the, I think it was the Olympics game, but it was, once again, like you said, just a little bit more wacky. And maybe that Horn guy should focus more on the game rather than laughing, says Shongalolo. I think he was laughing because he thought he did a forward pass. So he was more so laughing, going, thank you, referee, for not checking that. But one certainly skewiffed off the side of Kieran Horn's foot. Now it does give the line-out opportunity, Ribaldi, to throw this one in. I had a rugby game back in the day on PS1, and I remember it was pretty poor. Says Big Rig. Do you see, some people are still playing Rugby 08. I only played Rugby 08, I think, once. I ended up buying it way later. But I decided to do a World Cup with my dad. And the very first kickoff, there's an animation in the game how they tackle a guy in the ear. And our very first minute of our World Cup, Richie McCaw got a red card for that tackle that we didn't even get to do. But we played a lot of Rugby 06. Currently Zebre, they are on attack. Sitting 22 metres out from the line, Thomas Dominguez. Good solid shots coming in from the Lions with the 4 minutes remaining on the clock. An unsuccessfully converted try here would actually give us a draw in this match if that was the way for it to stay. Does Rugby 25 have the new jerseys? I know that they've got the jerseys from last season. I'm not sure whether or not they have updated it to the new season ones. Now passing short here. Zebre, that looked like a ball was dropped. No, it's going to be play on. Off to the left-hand side, chance for Marco Zanon. Now, across to Ferrari. Man who looked like he was going to be off the field earlier on due to taking a head knock, but still using these reserves very nicely. Nokera. Now back across. Finds Ruggieri 10 metres out from the line for ZEBRE Parma as they put together multiple phases in a row. Draw and pass on the outside. Zanon could not shovel it on. Hassan P makes a very crucial tackle for the away side. Now still 10 metres out from the try line here. They don't have the phase count up on the screen, but I'd say it's at least probably 10 to 12 at the moment for Zebre. There is an injured player to the left-hand side. He gets back up to his feet, though, for the sake of continuing this play. Ball on the outside. Zebre for the corner. They're going to get driven out, or at least they should have been, but the Lions, after an offload, can't quite get it away. Flat ball there. Very flat, to be fair. Into the hands of Martin Roger. They're still 5 metres out. The Lions don't want to let this one slip, I repeat. Say thanks for the commentary. This match sounds live. Watching it, says Leon. Now, couple metres out still from the line. ZEBRE Parma going over the middle with a breakdown. They have been on attack for 2 minutes straight here, and the Lions have not budged. They were close to conceding out near the wing, but they wouldn't let it happen. Now 3 metres out. Anything close to the post scored by Zebre could change this game. Dobello making the tackle there. 3 metres still separating Zebre from a winning try. Trying to hold him up here, the Lions. Might be the tactic. Pick and go over the line. And they've scored it now. And that may just about be the match. They've still got some time remaining, but the kick has to go over if they want to move away from 18-18. Sorry, 2020, I should say. The scoreboard hadn't updated there, but it is the replacement. Matteo Nokera. He made his way on about 15 minutes ago, and that should almost secure the game. Unless the kick misses, like I mentioned. Could happen. You just never know. The Italian flag there from Marco in the chat as well. And Zebre celebrating that one in front of their home crowd. 1 minute remaining. 20 seconds on the shot clock. I tell you what, he better hurry up. Carry on, they've said. He's got 15 seconds now. He's looking for the mark. Tell you what, he's got to get a little bit of a move on here. 10 seconds remaining for the shot clock. 7, 6, 5. He's going to do his walk. He may take too long. He strikes it. He didn't have any time whatsoever, and he still gets it over. Making the score now 22-20 with just the 30 seconds remaining. Stephanie has said score is 20-20. It certainly is, and now it's 22-20. I thought for a second he was going to get timed out, leaving it as late as physically possible. I don't think that was whether or not, or I don't think it was on purpose. It was just more trying to find the mark. Took a little bit longer, but it's kicked off long. Zebre have claimed the ball. 15 seconds remaining as we look at a rolling maul here. 22 metres out from the Zebre line. They're going to be told to use it very soon by the referee. They're being told to use. They will go back into the pocket. They will kick the ball into touch, and ZEBRE Parma win this game up against the Lions by 2 points, which pretty much has epitomised this whole round of the URC. How's Van Wyk playing? Pretty quiet in that game overall, although to be fair, he has headgear on, and a few of the other forwards did as well, and all the numbers look the same on the back of the Lions kit. It was very hard to tell them apart. I saw a couple good piercing runs up the middle of the field. I think there was one right at the start of the second half, and then also one a little bit later on. Huge win, says Marco. Massive win for ZEBRE Parma, and they do get themselves now up into about third place in the URC standings. And also, we have good there. I would have had $50 in my pocket, says Splash TV. You certainly would have. 22-20. And thanks so much. Great commentary, says James. And there as well. But yeah, great afternoon game of rugby. And like I said, it's pretty much summed up this whole round of the URC. Every game has been close. The Lions in the early stages of the contest just didn't have the right tactics, kicking that ball back into the hands of ZEBRE. But now ZEBRE get themselves that big win, even with the yellow card. But it was the breakdown work of the loose forward trio. We saw a lot of Locatelli getting himself those steals. Also, Rugari had a bit more of the ball later on in the game, and then the early tries from Straville. Are you covering any other games this weekend? Not this one that we're still a part of, but next weekend we've got the URC matches that we are hoping to do. I think they are one of the only competitions alongside NPC Rugby, which hopefully we will be able to do on the channel as well. 1 second. Yeah, it is the quarterfinals of the NPC, so we may end up covering at least 1 or 2 of those games. Too many passengers in the Lions team. Pathetic, says Mike. And also, Lions have never been so bad, actually. But well done to ZEBRE, says a cool story. And thanks so much, says Ruth. And there as well. But nonetheless, do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, big week hopefully ahead in terms of squad announcements and whatnot for November. Maybe it will be a little bit too early, but if there is the announcements, of course, we will be letting you know. Also, at some stage, I would like to do my team of the tournament for the Rugby Championship. I've still got a few more stats to look through and make sure that I'm picking the right players. Rugby 2005. CS says, cool story there, and give the Pumas or the Griquas or even Boland a chance at the URC. Thanks, Amish, says Tonian. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for the next one.